joining us at this time. Time for us to switch from beach volleyball, a two-person sport, to another two-person sport. They say if you try and box alone, then you're basically up against your own shadow, or preparing for an opponent, sparring up there. You don't do it blindly, so you've got to do it the correct way. So time for us now to talk about professional boxing. Over the weekend, Maurice Okola was having a fight in Nairobi, and this was at the Charter Hall, a heavyweight fight over 6 rounds, won by unanimous decision. And over the past 2 months, we've also had fight nights coming through, and everyone's asking, where's the pro boxing? And, we're not asking for something like what we had at the Wembley Stadium on Saturday night, Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois, but action that keeps pulling in the athletes and bring the sport back up. And to speak about that, the chair of the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission, Ruben Ndolo Mheshimiwa, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And we've got Karibu.
Thank you.
Willie Wex, who organizes the Nairobi Fight Nights, first Tuesday of every month.
Yes, sir.
A very odd day to get Kenyans. If we were to use where everyone is every weekend, football, they know it's Saturday 4. Or Saturday evening for the pro boxing. Yes. So, we'll be talking about that, why the Tuesday nights, and because everyone says about a 24/7 economy, that could be one pathway. But let's start here. With the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission, pro boxing properly established in the country, we're looking at what now, 40 years. As we get to this point, what's been that journey of professional boxing in the country? We know we had some of our boxers, going out early, fighting in Japan, in Europe, but locally, it's the likes of Dick Tiger Murunga who came in and started doing that in the early 80s, and we saw a lot of action in the 90s.
Well, Wahome, first of all, thanks very much for making sure that you are making professional boxing, not only professional boxing, but boxing in general, come up and think about how we started, and then now where we are going. Very important. But promise me, no politics.
No politics.
Just boxing. Yes. Now, as you have said, when we started professional boxing, it was not easy. All the young kids by then, we were the young kids by then, and we are all outside the country. And as you've said, some of them, others were in Japan, and some of us were in Germany, and others were in States, and all those other countries. It was not easy. It was tough, and you go back and see what happened when we approached. By then, he was the general manager of Panam, Joe Akech. He was one of us in Nairobi, born in Nairobi, brought up in Nairobi. So we approached him and said he can be our chairman. He agreed. And we had another friend of ours who was by then in the Navy. He was in Mombasa, Kahoro. Now he's in States. He went to States and he stayed there. We went together in States. Now I left him there. So the problem was about those guys who were there by then, making sure amateur. Our brothers in amateur are not coming to professional. So we did really a lot of work. So Dick Tiger Murunga, as you have said, came up with ideas. We approached Wako. By then he was just a lawyer. And Wako is the one who constructed our now KBC constitution. Is Wako's work. So you can see we started, we had our first fight, Modest Napunyi fighting Ngoi, who's now the leader of professional in Tanzania. It started very well at KCC. But again, what happened? No sponsors, nothing to do, no help from the government. But we tried up to now. Things now are coming back again. We thank God and we thank all the sports people and all the boxers who are there now, and we'll keep on being a very, very strong family, believe me.
All right. Well, one of the things that, for you to get into boxing is get sanctioned for professional boxing. There's a whole set of people who are behind. You may see the commission, but the commission will sanction a fight, working together with one of the other bodies, which the initials. I mean, in professional boxing, we are losing count: WBO, WBC, IBF, and all of those that are there. But what draws you to promoting fights? And because it doesn't come in secure a boxer, get the right matchup, get the right matchmaking, and whoever gets to watch the fights on that Tuesday night is entertained.
So first and foremost, Wahome, thank you for having me here. And I'm grateful not only just to sit here, but also to sit next to Mheshimiwa. It's been a journey. Started off 2 years ago, looking into... I'm just a lover of sports. I've been in this studio talking about even when we were handling the Olympics in Paris. But for me, sports has been key to me. And when I looked at bodies that were handling sports, I got drawn to boxing. I've handled rugby, I've handled athletics, I've handled we call it table tennis. We were with you in Kasarani. But then when I touched on boxing, I was excited to look at how well to get it from a step to another direction. What we used to be here, as Mheshimiwa stated, we used to be here. Then over time, with lack of sponsors, lack of commitment, it has gone to let's say this level. If we're able to just raise it a notch each and every time. So as you're asking me why boxing and why the Tuesday nights, it's easier to secure a venue at a minimal cost on a Tuesday night compared to a Friday or a Saturday night. So, and then looking at the pool, there's a whole pool of fighters who are craving to have an opportunity to square it out. And if you're able to give them an opportunity, as you said, you get matchups. For us, we started off, our first fight night was on August 6th. Then we had the 3rd of September. This, we're going to our third one, which will be now on October 1st, because ours is every first Tuesday. What we've come to see is that there's love of boxing, and it being a weeknight, as you've stated, it's a night you're looking at and wondering, it'll take long, then someone has work the next day or school for those who are maybe a young person who's trying to watch. What we've done about it is our fights are very simple and to the point. We have 6 cards for this coming one, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. we are done. 10 p.m. we're done. Everyone head home. If you're done, if you enjoy just the first 4 and you have a schedule the next day, you can leave earlier. But we're giving you action-packed from the first one till the last one. So you have 6 fights and someone is able to get to enjoy. At the end of the day, how well are we able to help that young person get a livelihood out of boxing? Because for some, I know of a fighter who had turned pro and then he had taken time because there were not much fights happening.
Yes.
So with a monthly fight night, we're able to get more people getting involved. So you see, the fight that was happening on Saturday, that's a fight that is well planned. You see, now when you're having a title fight, or like when Maurice is fighting, that's a fight that's been planned for long. But for ours, what we're doing, we're actually dealing with, as Mheshimiwa stated, fighters were just moving from amateur into pro. And over time, my love will be to see fighters coming from amateur to pro at a very younger age. I'm looking at, a guy like Canelo. Canelo turned pro at 17. He's now 32, 34. He's been able to capitalize for 17 years at pro level. I think with just 2 losses.
Yes, 2 losses, 2 draws, yes.
Yeah. So how well can we also be able to create interest with the younger generation? That if you see talent which is good, let it not stay at amateur for long. If that person can go pro, Lamine Yamal for Barcelona, this kid was playing Euro finals at the age of 16, or had he just turned 17. So how well do we enable young people? As long as someone is talented, let's not hold them back. So for me, that's what I'm looking at.
Well, it's not every day that you get an 18-year-old as a world champion, like in the case of Mike Tyson way back in around 1986, almost 40 years ago. But Mheshimiwa, let me come to you. And Willie has mentioned about trying to attract these young boxers. We know of the big name stars in Kenya who went and turned professional. Those who won the medals in the 68, 72, the boycotts of the 76 and 1980 Olympics made them turn professional. That is where they would start. But it's this transition and keeping, attracting them. What kept professional boxing going in the 80s, and also in the mid-2000s, we saw a revival of that sport, especially driven by, the rise of Conjestina Achieng. Just take us through that era, those two eras.
Yes, Wahome. First of all, let me give credit to Willis for what he has been doing since he started. It's not easy, the way you look at how things are moving on around this country nowadays. And the young kids of today are different from the days that you used to be. He has been giving us a lot of support to the amateur side who want to turn pro, and they've come in. What I'll ask the government and the other organizations who are going to make sure that they are not only helping Willis, they are helping the kids who are looking for jobs. Because he's creating opportunity for the young kids not to go around in other places, and make sure that they are there doing their work, fighting, getting something out of it, and make sure that the discipline is there. So how you have said, the 2000 during Conjestina, the way we brought in Conjestina, he was a footballer.
Yeah.
And we convinced her to turn to boxing. She was a lady of Makolandas in Makongeni. And then after that, we got people from other countries who start supporting professional boxing. Even our lady, we call her, we praise her, our Iron Lady, Martha Karua. She really supported Conjestina. The other fight, which was at Kasarani, she's the one who supported Conjestina. You can imagine, people came in, even from America.
That was a fight against Laura Ramsey.
Yeah. Yeah, she did it. And so we need more people who can come in and support and create jobs for the sports. It's all about creating opportunities. And if we are not going to do that, you sacrifice yourself. We've been sacrificing, it, Wahome. Yes. We've been sacrificing ourselves here. It's for the love of the sport and for the love of our people. So it's about now the government to come in and not to go the way in the early late 70s and early 80s. Some of them were just saying, this is profession, this is how much. Wahome, a job is a job. A job is a job. So nowadays, there's no professional, there's no amateur in the world. Everything is professional, even in athletics. People nowadays are being paid. And why not support Kenyans who are there? And you are trying to divide them on the basis of this one is there. That's, you don't divide. In America, they used to have the Friday nights fights, what he's doing now. It used to be there, and it improved everything in America. Now you see what they're doing. So we can also do that. We can make sure that this country becomes not only the Las Vegas, but the Africa which we can make everybody in Africa comes in and does. Let us start. Let the government do something, provide, not them just concentrate on athletics and football. Let them divide everything, go everywhere. Even badminton is sports.
Yeah, all indoor. Well, we know Nakuru will have claim to Madison Square Garden, so let's hope that truly we get a big arena right here in Nairobi that can make this. And Bonandolo, let me just come and talk about one of the things that as a commission that you have to do, work with, if it's a regional body, if it's for a regional title or a global body when looking for this, for the sanctioning of these titles. What's the procedure here? Because we have seen WBC President Suleiman come here and simply say, look, I have approved of this fight, or he simply says, I need this corrected before I put my signature. He says, my pen is here with me, but I'm not approving it until you get this right. What are the things that behind the scenes that as a commission you do?
Well, as a commission, you can, WBC, that's why we also give credit to WBC, because they started helping Africa themselves. the WBC. You can imagine the way we started. You are not WBC by then, it was on a WBA. And when we went to Tunisia, by then Joe Akech, as I've said, was our chairman, and Boniface Kahoro was our Secretary General. We all went to Tunisia. That's where WBC started. It started in Africa, but now it was, because we didn't have anything, now it was grabbed and it went to Mexico. So we agree that WBC, when we brought them back in the early 90s when Mandela came out, they also started now helping back the Africans. Now, because they are the ones who sanction in the whole of the world, they give credit to the TV rights in America. That's where the money is, and in Mexico. And of course, the amateur nowadays, the Russians have taken over, because they are the ones who are controlling amateur. You can't do anything. That's why even this time, you see, we didn't have a person who went to the Olympics. Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
We'll be coming to that. Just hold that thought, Mheshimiwa. But let's quickly move over to what's happening around. We know that university, the operations at universities have been stalled after the strikes that have been called by the Kenya University Staff Union and the Academic Staff Union. Let's hear from them as they give us an update as to what's going on about the strike, looking for better terms of pay before they can resume work. So we get back into a conversation. Nairobi Fight Nights. That's what everyone says and they want to see to push up this level of professional boxing in Kenya. We've got the chair of the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission, the Honorable Ruben Dolo, and we've got Willie Wex, who organizes the Nairobi Fight Nights. And you were speaking about, a dangerous thing that's happening in the country. And what we're talking about is the state of amateur boxing in Kenya. We never had anybody go to the Olympics. And just to put it into context, if you won an Olympic medal, gold, silver, or bronze, unless you are from a country that didn't allow you to make money from your sport, everyone went professional. We can talk about Muhammad Ali. He won gold at the Olympics. Evander Holyfield. You can move on later to Floyd Mayweather, won a bronze in 1996. Anthony Joshua won a gold in 2012. The late Robert Nangila Napunyi, he won a gold in 1988 in Seoul. And then the next step was turn professional. Watching those fights was a whole story way back then. What's the danger, Mheshimiwa, that you see? Because they always say, once you get to the Olympics, next thing, go bare-chested.
Yeah, thank you, Wahome. You have been there for some time. Let me put it this way. The danger is things change every now and then. Boxing is like mathematics. It's mathematics. It's your heart and your brain. And we cannot blame the amateur organization, federation only. But we have to also make sure that they get funding. Things change every day. Techniques are there, but things they have to go right to where the new systems are right now. They're in the east of Europe. That's where the system of amateur is. And if we are not going to give them support, fund them, give them something, and make the coaches, the organization, come up with new ideas, we are not good. That's why, you see, this time we couldn't do anything better than even going to whatever, Congo or whatever, here in Africa. That's what we have been doing. Even in Africa, I don't know if we did quite well. Not only that, not only funding, it's how they can take boxing serious, like what they're taking other issues. We were very much disappointed as the family of boxing since when Ababu took over. He was not concentrating on, he was just concentrating on his putting his suits, nini. No, okay. But look here, we lost people who got gold in the Olympics. We lost Waruinge. We went and saw him. We asked him to come, and we are going to bury Waruinge in Nakuru. Nothing. We saw him in Kericho. What about the rest? Of course, they were disappointed. And this is what we are going to tell, and I'm going to talk about it. Let me talk about what is true and what is there. If the government is going to know to fund all the sports, other sports, and not only concentrate on football and athletics, even in the Olympics, we are going to be proud of 5 gold medals, what. We can take even 20 gold medals if we have other sports.
Other sports. Well, that's a conversation that everyone is having. And let's now come to something, an aspect. And this is where, because you've been chair of the Commonwealth Boxing, governing body. And we're not talking about, when it comes to Commonwealth Games, it's when, Modest Napunyi, won his belts, the Commonwealth, professional boxing scene. Matchmaking, making sure that you get a contest boxer A, whoever goes to the red corner, the other one goes to the blue corner, that the two are not mismatched. And this is what, you to come in and how you would assess matchmaking outside of title fights, and for you, really, how you do your matchmaking for Tuesday night fights. Mheshimiwa.
Yes, that's very important, really. I was the president of the Commonwealth that time, but I'm still the director. And in fact, we are leaving tomorrow or the day after tomorrow to London. We have our Consolata Musangi is going to fight for the Commonwealth title on the 100th celebration of the Commonwealth. So you can see the matching, what you are saying is very important, because people want to see active and good boxing, and we are encouraging our promoters and our matchmakers and our managers to make sure that the matchmaking is very important, so that if you don't have a good boxing fight and then you just get somebody from nowhere and you put him in the ring, you've seen you can die in the ring. It's not a joke. We had somebody here who died it was early 80s, you can remember, from Uganda. And he was brought here, then he was knocked out in the first round. Ilisha. So what we want is better boxing matchmaking and good coaching and discipline. That's the most important thing.
All right, matchmaking, just tell us how you do it, because I'll be coming back to Mheshimiwa, such that you don't have a promoter who is also a matchmaker. How you are able to separate those two?
So from when I got into this space, what I came to learn is that I can't sit and start saying, Wahome to go against Ndolo. Those are two very different weight classes. And as much as you're younger, you'll be on the floor within the first, it'll be Anthony Joshua taking on a very good friend from UFC, Nganu, scenario where there was lack of skill and all. So what has happened is that I work with the respective coaches, and these teams that work behind the scene. What these guys have taught me is that when you have even someone defaulting, don't forget. So you want 6 matchups in a card. For the 1st of October, you've gotten, these are the first 6. This the red corner, so now how do you fill up the blue corner? So you're told there's this fighter from this location, there's this fighter. Check on their availability. Are they available? Then I'll wish now to bring some credit to some other people. I'll wish to credit the health and safety and wellness teams that we work with. So for us, we are working with Avenue Hospital. Avenue Healthcare have been gracious to us, and they've enabled that we check on, as Mheshimiwa stated, you don't want a scenario where someone gets into the ring and they're not match fit. So you don't want a scenario where something happens. So what will happen is when you're doing a weigh-in on a Monday, because our fights are on Tuesday, when we're doing our weigh-in, everyone is checked to be medically sound. And then still, the evening before your fight, you're checked again. Because you don't want someone going into that ring and then, as he stated, you don't want a casualty, you don't want such scenario. But in terms of matchmaking, what we want is to always, as stated, it's been a minute since people were having such many fights happening within a short period. So we're trying to avoid a scenario where someone fights on the 6th of
September.
3rd of September, then 6th of August is already fought. 3rd of September is fighting, and then 1st of October, you still want to fight again. For me, it's not feasible. Doesn't make sense. Even if how good you are, I would wish that everyone gets your recovery So it doesn't make sense that, oh, so I was good in August, the fight nights in August, I was good in September, now please put me in October. There are people who want that because there are people who are also trying to get their records. But I'm looking at the wellness and safety and for this young person. You're young, no one is taking your talent away. If you're able to space up your fights, you'll be able to get a good grounding going into your professional career.
All right. Well, Mheshimiwa, I'll be coming to you because, there's 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. How do you assess a boxer's fit, for this kind of progression? But happening right now, the FKF Electoral Board Chair, Hesbon Owila, is speaking at the Kempinski in Nairobi. The board is being unveiled. Let's see if we can get to listen to the chair of the FKF Electoral Board as sanctioned by the special general meeting that was held in August this year. 2024, when FKF held their special general meeting and they were approved by the SGM, and today they're being unveiled, and the journey to a new National Executive Committee starts. So Dan Mwendwa is going to be giving us the story of the unveiling of the FKF Electoral Board. And remember, also later today, one major story that we are keeping our eyes on is the Deputy Chief of Staff Performance and Delivery Management, Mr. Eliud Owalo, and the Secretary to the Cabinet, Mercy Wanjau, holding joint press conferences with Cabinet Secretaries and various state departments about performance, delivery, and this is on the vetted ministerial performance commitments that they have had. Now, with time to bring, wind down this conversation about professional boxing, and, we're with Willie Wex, the organizer of the Nairobi Fight Nights and the chair of the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission, the Honorable Ruben Dolo. And let's talk about, something that everyone talks about when it comes to professional boxing, is how you make the payment to these professional boxers. And also looking at the level they are in. Most professional boxers, when they start, they do the 4 rounds, then they're allowed to move on to 6, 8, 10, and the main championship fights all around 12 rounds. How do you work around this and also ensuring somebody goes to the right fight class or fight division?
Very good, Wahome. As you have put it, in any sports, it is from stage 1 up to stage 5. Then you go to stage 7, 8, that's when you start now graduating. In professional boxing is the same. I mean, when they start 4 rounds, and then you go to 6 rounds, 8 rounds, then 10 rounds, then 12 rounds when you go for the titles. So we encourage the promoters to make sure that we have a standard. It's everywhere in the world. We have a standard because we're professionals. We have a standard. We don't want our boxers to suffer because now that's their job. You are a professional. That's your job. You wake up in the morning, go to the gym, train very hard. You have your coach. You have to pay your coach. You have to pay the food that you eat. So we have standard, and we are proud of what I've said again about Willis. He has tried his best because he's giving them good support. He's giving that standard that we have put it for him. When the 4 rounds, not less than $500. You go 6 rounds, then not
500. That would be about that would be around 60,000 shillings.
Yeah, that's it. It's for if it's good for an amateur. For a starter, for a debut boxer to have that amount of payment. We have not reached, because when we are going to have now support like what the Tanzanians are doing, they have support of the TV rights. When you have TV rights, you get a lot of sponsors, and people are being paid very well. In fact, let me just put it this way, and I know I'm going. There's a lady who's coming from Tanzania next week. She's a promoter from Tanzania. She's going to come and put his fights here. And in fact, we have been discussing with you guys to come up and merge with that lady so that the standard of boxing can also come up again, the way you used to help us. So we have put that standard, and we are proud from what he's doing, because he doesn't go more than 6 rounds. And those young kids are coming up, very strong kids. If you come, we are welcome. We welcome you on the first. I'm going to Europe, coming back on the very fight when he's putting that fight, because I have to come back and make sure that we make the kids what they have to survive and earn something and earn respect as well.
And what about securing the payment? Because this is also really also
we are very strict about that. We make sure that he puts the money before the fights. We have not seen any complaint about that. The boxers are being paid. Put the money and make sure that after the fight or before the fights, he goes up to the ring, he has his money in his pocket. That's what he's been doing. And that's all. Even this one now, you see, the promoter who came from Mauritius, yes, he's the one who did everything. Good. He gave them good money. Okola, no complaint. Even the rest of the boxers, they were paid in dollars. So we are happy. We have that discipline right now because we don't want them to suffer the way we suffered.
Well, actually, the stories are from the 80s and 90s and also the early 2000s are different. Willie, let's just talk about this fundraising and making sure that you've got the right pass, not just for the boxers, but also you've got to pay the referees, judges, and the people who work around your health and safety. And also what would say, the fun protection aspect of it.
So for us, just to fundraise this to get clear is that we have a couple of partners. So as a starter, we have our venue partner. So the Alchemist has been good to us in the sense that for every Tuesday, we're not charged to have our fights there. So you see, for us,
that's a saving of roughly how much?
For venues range. Venues can range from as low as 150 to as high as $1 million if you're getting a place like KICC. So it just depends on what you're trying to execute, because for KICC, you're securing Savo grounds, trying to set up the trussing, to put up a ring. So for us at Alchemist, with a partnership with them, they've enabled us to have a scenario where we get just to come with our ring. So for us, our cost becomes the ring and the fight pass. So to secure that, what we've done is we have partners like there's a shop there called Zeki Kebab, who came in and told us for all the fighters, when they're coming for their fight night, we'll ensure they've eaten. So there is a meal already being given to them. Someone is not coming in hungry. You can imagine someone fighting 6 rounds on an empty stomach. There's no energy in the body. That guy is out. Then you have mascot. No, not immediately after, but you see, like they eat light from around 4 p.m. The fights start from 7 p.m.
Okay.
So you've gotten something in your body, and even there are others who tell you, "I'll eat after." So there's someone who knows it's going to knock you out, Wahome, then go and have a very good meal. Then we have partners who we're looking at. These people who are coming on board. Our ideal situation is to have, as is stated, broadcast is key. You've seen what Turkey has done with the
Riyadh season.
Riyadh season for the first time was not held in Saudi. Riyadh season happened in Wembley. And Turkey's still cashing in. But what they've been able to do is to have these TV rights that enable the fight pass to be well secured. So we're looking at, it's still, as you stated, it's a humble plea to KBC to also just look at us and say, okay, fine, how well can we also enable that? I remember as kids, we used to have... we used to watch wrestling every Tuesday evening. And from when we were kids, we never used to know whether that thing was live or not. We used just to believe wrestling is happening. And for us, it's how well can we convert what we're having as a fight night being broadcast even if it's live.
Okay. Yeah. Literally, Willie Wex has said, naomba serikali.
In the most modest way.
In the most modest way. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Yes. So, all the best to Consolata Musangi as she goes for her Commonwealth belt.
Thank you very much, Wahome. When I wind up, I think also I would like to thank, because KBC, we are the kids of KBC. Without KBC, nesingekuwa mheshimiwa. They brought us up. And also, we are glad now we are coming together with, he has talked about Riyadh in Saudi. That's where everything now is happening. We are going to sign a memorandum with the Saudi Commission to see also very soon. We have also Somaliland, they've come in, and we have Juba, they've come in. You will see in the next fight in October, all these promoters, even so, Somalia, boxer Somali. This one which is going to come, you will find a Somali boxer.
And when you talk about Juba, we're talking about Jubaland.
Yep.
Not because when you talk about Juma, he's the tallest boxers you would ever find in the featherweight division. But thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Ruben Ndolo, Chair, Kenya Professional Boxing Commission, Liwex, organizer of the Nairobi Fight Nights. It's been a pleasure being with you. Coming up next is Kurunzi Mashinani, followed by Tam Rini. My name is Daniel Wahome. Our sign language interpreter, bottom right of your screen, has been Anne Wangeshi. Have a good day.